whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man. Jake, God, we're about ready to start the show, and you just flatulated all up in the room.
But you're not going to tell the story as to why.
Because you have gas.
No, because it was a cable issue, and then I tried to walk behind your chair, and you were in my way. You squeezed me, so a fart came out.
So it's my fault.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
your
not.
fault.
No, it's
now,
not.
admittedly, the stench of the fart is my fault. You know.
You don't fart in a confined space.
This is not a confined space.
We're 3 feet apart.
Okay.
We have talked about this so often. At least you're admitting it this time.
Don't start with this fart denier stuff.
You are totally a fart
I'm not.
denier. Yes,
Dude,
you
I
are.
just farted in your face. I'm not denying anything.
Okay, you're such a jerk. You are such a jerk. Whatever. Whatever. It's fine. Happy Friday, everybody. How the heck are you? A very interesting morning for you. As we have all kinds of NFL playoff stuff to get to. We've got to talk about fast food inflation. Are you still subscribing to television? Are you a cable guy? Are you a dish guy?
DirecTV.
DirecTV.
NFL Sunday Ticket.
On that ass. Or are you a cable cutter and a Netflix subscriber? Wait until you hear some of the numbers about streaming, and Netflix had a terrible day yesterday. Their stock plunged, and they added millions and millions of followers or subscribers, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you're here watching the show now. If you are not a subscriber, by the end of this show, you will be, because there is some awesomeness coming to end the show today. So you're going to want to stay tuned, because we're going to whip it out and slap it on the table, and it's going to be amazing. By the way, Jake, what's the shirt update?
Shirt update is we have 7 left.
So we didn't sell any yesterday.
Yeah, we did. Cody Strickland got in yesterday.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, but then did you?
So we have 6 left.
Or is that 6? It's 6 now.
So we have 6 T-shirts left. Hold the T-shirt up.
Yep.
If you are now, you are going to want to purchase the final 6 shirts, because we have kind of a big deal. As you can see, Jake holding up the shirt. We have kind of a big deal. Hold it. Turn it to your right a little bit. There you go. We have kind of a big announcement. And if you've bought one of these shirts, you're going to have a huge advantage on the show today.
Yeah.
So you might want to do that. All you have to do is DM me on Twitter or Instagram, The Monty Show, MONTY, The Monty Show. The shirts are $25. We are down to XL and 2X only for $25. As soon as we sell out of these, we will order more. Have we figured out what drop we're going to use for the next T-shirt?
Yeah, we haven't come down to a final decision. We are open to your input in the comments, but I think, some front runners are, shout out to Mo Bamba.
Shout out to Mo Bamba.
Of course.
Okay, of course.
Let's see, what else do we got? We got this one.
He broke up with you over text message?
That was a big vote getter yesterday.
You broke up over text message was a good one. But I'm open, man. I'm open.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Maybe the winner of the contest gets to pick what the next shirt is.
Yeah.
Could be. Hey, let's get to work on the Utah Jazz, because yesterday, as we were telling you that the Jazz are active, very active in the trade market, we continued to burn up the phone lines and talk to MFers who know more about this than we do. And our NBA sources told us yesterday that the Jazz have indeed been in contact with the Boston Celtics, and they have had conversations about Marcus Smart becoming a Utah Jazz man. And it seems like this particular scenario has a lot of legs. From what we understand in Boston, he is one of the names that they are actively trying to move. And the Jazz have a need for a defensive wing player. We've talked about that. Marcus Smart certainly is known for his tenacious and tough defense.
Facts.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. He fits a big bill in that he's a guy that is one tough SOB. That's a guy that you don't want to see guarding you. Is he a wing player? Not really. He's a guard. But certainly guard defense, perimeter defense of any kind has been a significant issue for this Utah Jazz team. I've heard all kinds of wild speculation about what was going to Boston in return. I do know, according to what I've been told by people in the NBA, is that the Jazz are looking to acquire a second-round draft pick from Boston as part of this deal. And what that tells you is there will be multiple pieces going to Boston if a Marcus Smart trade is executed. My guess is in Boston has draft capital to include. It would be something in the order of a Marcus Smart and a second-round pick. I would not be surprised if there was a second contract coming back from Boston in this deal, because Boston is looking to gain flexibility. And when you have guys like, another guy that comes to mind is Dennis Schroeder, another guy that comes to mind is Richardson, like when you have those kind of situations in Boston on their roster that you know they are actively trying to rectify or change, the Utah Jazz are in a situation where they're not dictating to anybody. And they're certainly not dictating to the Boston Celtics for a chip like Marcus Smart, who I'm told is in demand in 3-4 different cities around the NBA. So my feeling is the Jazz they absolutely love to get in on a Marcus Smart deal. It's going to be a matter of what they can get back. It is not surprising at all that Danny Ainge and the Utah Jazz are looking for draft capital, because they essentially have none. Mm-hmm. They don't even have a second-round pick until, I believe it's 2028. They need to acquire draft capital in some form or fashion. Second-round picks are not usually where you find superstars, but they are trade chips, and it does allow you to more quickly increase the value of a player when you can attach a second-round pick. So it'll be interesting to see if that trade happens or how that happens, but we feel very good that the Boston Celtics and the Utah Jazz have had Marcus Smart conversations. My guess is players going to Boston, from what I've heard, what seems like the most logical fit is most likely Bojan Bogdanović, because Boston is very thirsty for three-point shooting. Mm-hmm. They need it. They don't have it, and the Jazz have plenty of it.
Bojan.
I am told at this point, though, that the Utah Jazz have been a little hesitant to trade Jordan Clarkson or include him in deals. They are readily including Joe Ingles in his expiring deal in just about any conversation. Does that get a Marcus Smart trade done? Probably, but it's probably not going to bring you a second-round pick to go with it. So it's all a matter of what Boston's getting in return, because let's be honest, I don't think anybody thinks Boston's competing for the Eastern Conference this year.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Yeah, I think that's completely fair to say, but I think, Boston is in a place where they need to figure out how to build this team around, Jalen and Jason. They have to figure out the formula, and they haven't figured that out yet. You've made obviously a coaching change and moved him up to the front office, and there's been a lot of change on the coaching staff, but it seems like they just haven't been able to figure out this roster. And it's no surprise to me that, of course, Danny Ainge, the first team he's calling is none other than the Boston Celtics. I mean, that just makes perfect sense. So to me, I feel like, the threat level, if you will, of this trade happening is high. I think that something will go down between these two. I just think that it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, to your point, what exactly does that look like? Can they get that draft capital in return? Is it going to require, a player like Bogdanović with Jingles, or can they get away with Jingles and a lower tier player? So I think I think this is the kind of conversation you want to be having if you're a Jazz fan, I think, not only does this signal that Danny Ainge understands where the team is at, Danny Ainge also clearly understands the needs of the team, and I think that's a big deal. I think, it's one thing to say, hey, we got to tear the roster down, right? It's one thing to say, you got to completely remake the roster. But what good is remaking the roster if you don't understand the needs of your team, And so when I heard, hey, we're going, the Danny Ainge and the Jazz, we're going after Marcus Smart, that told me, that was a clear signal to me, okay, Danny Ainge clearly understands what this team needs. They need toughness. We talk about that all the time. They definitely need perimeter defense, and Marcus Smart can provide that. And Marcus Smart is a serviceable three-point shooter. He's not the best in the league. He's not the worst in the league.
But
he's
he
just
can knock
serviceable.
it down.
Yeah, I mean, he can make the shot when you need him to. So I think it is a smart player. I like Marcus Smart a lot. I think on the show, you guys have brought up the name Jay Crowder a lot. He's not available, but I think Marcus Smart is that Jay Crowder style player. I mean, that's essentially what Jay Crowder does for Phoenix. He's a guy that'll knock down the three, and he's that dog on defense, man. He gets after you. So I think it would be a great addition. The only question is going to be, what do they have to give up to get it done? And can they, to your point, can they beat out the other teams who are trying to get Marcus Smart?
Well, and I think the draft pick is critical.
Yeah.
I think any trade that the Jazz make now, they've got to try and build a bank of draft capital because they just don't have any.
Yeah.
And as bare as the cupboards are talent-wise, they're even more empty as far as draft capital goes. And I think it's really important that if you are going to remake this team into a contender, the Utah Jazz, you've got to have draft picks to do that.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense that Danny Ainge is shopping for draft picks. I get it. It's just going to be a matter of whose pick does he have to take, because he's not going to get to pick and choose or dictate pretty much any of the controllables in these deals. But I love Marcus Smart coming to the Jazz. He is exactly what this team needs. I mean, speaking of Jay Crowder, you watched that Suns win last night in Dallas. He's all over that, hitting threes, being tough. The kind of foul that a guy like Marcus Smart commits is never a light touch foul.
Yeah.
That's a big, thick dude that's got athletic ability. And I agree with you 100%. He's not going to make 50% of his threes, 40% of his threes, but you don't need him to. This is a team that's got prolific three-point shooting. Even if you move Bojan Bogdanovic, you think about everybody else that's going to remain, because my guess is the Jazz are not going to trade guys like Mike Conley right now.
No.
At least I would not think so. But you look at Donovan Mitchell, his three-point game clearly has been elevated. If you acquire Marcus Smart, I have no problem giving up a Bojan Bogdanovic and a Joe Ingles. That makes a lot more sense to me from a Boston perspective. You give them salary cap relief. You give them a guy in Bogey that can shoot the three and be a contributor to that team, a role player on that team. Because I also think Boston is very clearly trying to move Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. This team is in Boston, from what NBA sources tell me, is going to be built around Jason Tatum. He is very clearly their number one. That's not breaking news by any stretch of the imagination, but they need other pieces. And I think Boston is in a very similar place that the Jazz are, in that they realize the roster's not good enough. Now, there's a lot of questions about, whether they're getting quality coaching in Boston. You have a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of experience leading that bench. We'll see how that plays out. But what you know right now is the next time the Boston Celtics win a championship, it will likely not be with most of the guys that are currently on that roster.
Right.
And you need to make that change.
Right.
I mean, does it make sense to give up a Bojan Bogdanovic and something to get a Marcus Smart?
Yeah, I think it does make a lot of sense. And I think that, one of the benefits of giving up some three-point shooting if you're the Utah Jazz is you get your floor balance back. If you think about how many times we've talked about, the Jazz playing one-on-one basketball or not driving and kicking, or just not playing very winning basketball on the offensive end. I think a lot of that for Donovan has to do with the fact that, he doesn't feel like the guys he has on the floor with him can knock down a lot of these shots, and I think Bogey has proven to be a reliable three-point shooter, but obviously the regression of Joe Ingles is no secret. You have a guy, Quinn's been playing Jordan Clarkson and Donovan together a bit more lately, before the concussion, obviously, but they have been playing a little bit more together. And I know for a fact, I'm looking at the way Don handles Jordan Clarkson, and he's not giving it to him either. So I think, when I look at Marcus Smart, I think Marcus Smart would bring a lot of balance to the floor as well. I mean, if you think about it, you would have Conley at the 1, Donnie at the 2. You could play Marcus Smart at the 3, and then you have options at the 4 and the 5. Obviously, Rudy would be your 5, but you can mix and match with that a lot more. And Marcus Smart brings that mid-range tough guy mentality to the floor that you don't have right now. So, and I also think too, the other thing with Marcus Smart, the intangible, is playoff experience and leadership. I think that Rudy Gay was supposed to be that for your team, and it doesn't really seem like he's been able to bring that messaging or that experience or that leadership. So hopefully Marcus Smart can bring a little bit of that. He's been in the playoffs. He's played, he's played against LeBron for the Eastern Conference Finals, man. I mean, this is a guy who has done some things in the league. So I think Marcus Smart would be a nice acquisition, and I would have no problem giving up Bogdanovich to do it because I think you don't need more 3-point shooting. You need more floor balance. You need more experience and leadership, and I think Marcus Smart brings that.
Yeah, and I think you need toughness. One of the big things, and we've talked about it a lot on this show, is that the Jazz are soft. The Jazz are not a tough or physically imposing team. You need toughness on this team.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'll just say again what I've said forever. I think the one guy that I would love to see replaced right now today is Royce O'Neal. I would love to see the Jazz ship out Royce O'Neal, but teams like Boston are not just going to take Royce O'Neal because they don't need him. That guy is readily available around the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
It's a guy like Bojan Bogdanović who has a special and unique skill that's not easily attained in the NBA. Bojan Bogdanović can play inside and outside. He is incredibly limited defensively, but he can rebound for you and he can shoot the three. And those are two skills in this league that are in high demand. And I think that both guys, frankly, could benefit from a change of scenery.
Yeah.
I don't believe that we are seeing the highest, best use for Bojan Bogdanović right now. I think we're going in the wrong direction with Bogey. My feeling is if he finds a new uniform in a new place that gives him new energy,
he'll explode.
I think he will grow. I think he can get back to 20-point Bogey. I do, because he'll get more opportunity in a different market. I think a guy like Marcus Smart could absolutely, to your point, with his experience and his playoff experience, I think he's a guy that could come in here and really be a leader in this locker room. And I think that toughness is, man, I cannot tell you how many minutes the Utah Jazz waste because they're just not tough. How many losses they give away or how many wins they give away and turn into losses because they're not mentally tough or physically tough.
Yeah.
I think it's something we don't talk about enough. And obviously when we talk about Rudy Gobert, we talk about the fact that he can be had physically.
Well, and I think it's not just Rudy now either, though. I mean, I think, Rudy, obviously things have happened, but I think Don can be had a little bit from that front. I think we've seen that a bit in the playoffs where guys get real physical with him and really try to impose their will.
Yes.
But I think moreover, too, I think a lot of times when we see this team fall apart in mid-game, we see them start to settle for the bad three or not move the ball, or you all know what I'm talking about. When we see that start to happen, I think a Marcus Smart caliber of player, not that he's the best in the game or anything like that, but again, just with his experience and the adversity that he's played through in his career, I really think that he could help them settle down on the floor. This team is overloaded with 3-point shooting. You don't need more 3-point shooting. You need more mid-range. You need more experience. You need more leadership. And so I hope they get this deal done. I really do. Does it make the Jazz a title contender? Well, no. But I definitely think it helps solidify them as a top 5 playoff team, Because right now, they've got a cushion to the 4, 5, 6 teams, right? There's a cushion. But if the team keeps going the way it's going, that cushion is going to get eaten up. And I don't think this team can afford to fall much past 4. I don't think you want to be playing, the top seeds on their 4.
Sure.
So I would love to see this deal happen, but I think the draft pick thing and getting that back from Boston is the most important part of it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to me to see if this deal is able to go through or if they're able to find a deal. Because I do know and I do believe from the people I've heard from that Boston would really like to start making deals. It's interesting this year around the NBA. There's a lot of teams that want to make deals and they're just waiting. I think there's a lot of teams around the NBA wondering what the Philadelphia 76ers are going to do. Mm-hmm. And that Ben Simmons situation, I think, is holding a lot of general managers up because there's a lot of GMs who want to get in on Ben Simmons. He is a very in-demand player, but I think that, that it's having a trickle-down effect. We've talked about Jeremy Grant quite a bit on this show, and I think the Detroit Pistons are really holding out hope that they can get a deal done with the Boston Celtics, and I think that's why they haven't moved Jeremy Grant onto another location at this point.
Yeah.
Because they'd really like to be in on the Ben Simmons deal. And to get Ben Simmons, you're going to have to send a star player.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Grant fills a lot of needs, checks a lot of boxes for the Philadelphia 76ers. but they just won't let go of the Ben Simmons ghost. And, frankly, I had a conversation with a guy about this yesterday who straight up said Daryl Morey believes that Ben Simmons will play basketball for the Philadelphia 76ers this year. And I just don't understand that, because Ben Simmons has given you no indication he's going to do that. He has given you no indication that he's on the verge of reporting.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons doesn't want to be a Sixer, and you need to, at some point, come to grips with that if you're the Sixers and Daryl Morey, because if you lose an entire season, you've just wasted one of the best productive seasons that Joel Embiid's ever going to have in his career.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this ad nauseum on the show. Joel Embiid is having a year of growth and prosperity in Philadelphia without Ben Simmons. He never was this prolific when Ben Simmons was on the floor with him.
All the signs point to trade Ben Simmons, dude. He doesn't want to be on your team. Your best player is getting better without him on the floor. And I think you make a great point. Like, the rest of the league, whether you're a team that wants to be in on Ben Simmons or whether you're a team that's waiting for the Ben Simmons thing to happen so you could be a fringe portion of that deal, is waiting on you to open up the Ben Simmons conversation. So, if you take a second and you look around the league at all the different opportunities that could potentially play out, look no further than, the Dame situation. There's still speculation whether he's going to stay or go or what he's going to do, right? People still think that Damian Lillard could be available. There's these trade rumors and speculation about Don. I'm not saying that Don's going to go anywhere right now, but again, I'm just telling you, if you're an NBA GM and you hear, hey, if Don were to leave, doesn't that perk your ears up a little bit? If you're in the Eastern Conference, and you're, let's say the Bulls as an example, if you're the Bulls, you're the GM of that team, how can we get better at the deadline? What one move can I make to better this team? Because damn, we're pretty darn good when we're fully healthy and not worrying about COVID and Lonzo Ball and his knee, So I just think that this Ben Simmons situation is having a massive impact on the rest of the league. And unfortunately for the rest of the league, the Lakers are looking like they're not going to be particularly active at the deadline. So, because if you think about it, the Lakers are usually a team that's very active at the deadline. So you already have less opportunity than you typically would. And now you've got this whole Ben Simmons saga that's holding everything up. So it'll be curious to see when that bubble bursts. Because I agree with you. I don't think Ben Simmons is reporting anytime soon. I don't think Ben Simmons wants anything to do with this team. I don't think Ben Simmons likes Daryl Morey. I don't think he likes anybody in that front office. And I definitely don't think he likes Joel Embiid. So if you're Daryl Morey, why would you not go ahead and trade him, get your value out of it, and then make a title run? Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, and the interesting part of that whole thing, and the thing that I think is so fascinating about what the 76ers are doing, is that it just makes so little sense. To me anyway, it makes so little sense to have Ben Simmons on that roster, and I don't care that you're not paying him. This is another conversation. Well, they're not paying him, so there's no onus to trade him. Well, you're also competing at the top of the Eastern Conference without him, and he's worth a potentially a superstar on your roster. I mean, if you trade him to, we've heard a lot about the Portland Trailblazers. If you trade him and somehow end up with CJ McCollum out of that deal, does CJ McCollum make the 76ers better?
Yeah.
He does. Does Nurkic make the Sixers better? He does. I don't think that Dame Lillard has indicated he wants out. I don't think he'd be in that deal. I look at Golden State. Does Kuminga make the 76ers better? Probably not right now. But if it's Andrew Wiggins and Kuminga, all of a sudden, that looks like a hell of a lot better of a deal.
Wiggins can help you.
Like Andrew Wiggins arguably makes you a contender to win the Eastern Conference Championship.
He is a solid all-star now. He is respected in the NBA.
He is a weapon.
Yeah.
He is a guy you have to deal with. And if you fit him into that group, you send out Ben Simmons, and now all of a sudden you start to think to yourself, well, if I have Wiggins and I have a guy like Kuminga who can give me 15 minutes off the bench, and you look at the Seth Currys of the world and you look at the way that he fits in with Tobias Harris or whatever that might look like, because who knows what you send in return with Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
But if all or some of those pieces are still there, that makes a lot of sense. And what that does is that frees up the Pistons to go make a deal with somebody else for Jeremy Grant.
Yes.
Because I don't think there's any doubt. And I probably talked to as many people about trades as just about anybody around the NBA, I would think. I have no doubt that Jeremy Grant is one of the best players available for trade right now today.
Yeah.
If you called Detroit and you had a solution for them, they would give you Jeremy Grant.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben Simmons is a solution for Detroit. There's no doubt about that. I think there's two things at play there. One, I don't think the Sixers want to send him anywhere in the Eastern Conference. I think the 76ers would like to see him go out west so that they see him once, maybe twice a year. But my feeling is that Jeremy Grant's not the guy they want.
Yeah.
I think the superstar in the Eastern Conference they want is Bradley Beal. But I just don't think that Washington or Bradley Beal are at the moment willing to make a trade, because I think Bradley Beal wants to be an unrestricted free agent.
And why wouldn't you?
But also think about Philadelphia in a Bradley Beal deal.
Mm-hmm.
If you trade Ben Simmons for Bradley Beal right now,
You're a title contender.
well, but you're also getting a guy that's going to unrestricted free agency this summer, and you gave up Ben Simmons to get him.
Yeah, but I also think as part of that, there has to be an opportunity for the Sixers to potentially get Beal to agree, without paper, right? But to agree, hey, we can work on an extension after the season. I think it would be naive to assume that those kind of conversations, don't happen. So if I'm the Sixers and you make a great point, I'm not disagreeing with you, because his contract is expiring and because, he obviously has made it clear he wants to go into unrestricted free agency. If you were to make that deal, Bradley Beal, I wouldn't make the deal unless Bradley Beal agreed to work on an extension, to stay with the team, at least 2 to 3 seasons.
But think about teams out west that have been talked about with the 76ers. One of the teams I hear constantly for Ben Simmons is the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
Are the Sacramento Kings willing to give up Buddy Hield, Tyrese Halliburton, and probably Harrison Barnes, and probably some picks for a package to Philadelphia that includes Ben Simmons?
Well, the interesting part about I think they are, first of all, but second of all, this whole De'Aaron Fox situation is kind of interesting. There was a lot of rumors out there that they were willing to trade De'Aaron, and he was in conversations, and then the Kings put out a statement saying that they were not.
I would not trade De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, and I wouldn't either. But it's just kind of interesting. It makes you wonder. Okay, well, you're telling me that somebody just made that up, that they were talking, to teams about De'Aaron?
No, but I think what happens is you get into a situation where you cannot continue to do the same thing you've always done in Sacramento, which is trade your star players or ship out your star players.
Yeah.
I think they realize that De'Aaron Fox is a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
Yeah.
I think they would be open to dealing a Tyrese Halliburton if you're getting a better player in return. And I think there's no doubt that Ben Simmons, while he is very limited as a shooter, he is an attack-the-basket, tenacious defender. And there's a lot of need for that in the Western Conference. I mean, hell, and I've said this about the Utah Jazz. I'd love to have Ben Simmons on the Jazz, but one, he makes a ton of money, and two, I just don't know what you would have to give up to get him. If you're the Sacramento Kings, who cares what you have to give up to get him?
Yeah.
Because he makes you a better team. If you've got to give up Donovan Mitchell to get a Ben Simmons, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that, right? So I'm not giving up a star player, and the only star player on the Utah Jazz that I think Philadelphia would be interested in is Donovan Mitchell, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah, agreed.
So I think that Sacramento's a place that Philadelphia can take a haul from, because I don't think there's a whole lot of back up the Brinks truck teams in the NBA these days.
No,
and especially for a limited player like Ben Simmons. And by the way, not to go back to Rudy Gobert, but when you talk about limited players, Rudy Gobert and Ben Simmons are in the very same situation. They're very limited offensively.
Except I think the league views Ben Simmons as way more valuable.
Because he's a wing.
Yeah.
And he can defend 4 positions. He can defend point through power forward.
Yeah, he's 6'10".
So, but the issue is that he comes with a hell of a lot of baggage.
Yes, he does.
There's going to be a lot of questions about Ben Simmons' willingness to play ball.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see exactly what that looks like. And frankly, I don't know what that looks like right now for Philadelphia. But all of that to say, I think there's a lot of teams sitting on the tipping point waiting for Philadelphia to make a deal.
Yeah, there's going to be a slew of trades that go down at some point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I just don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Or how do you fix that? You know, like that.
You don't fix it. I think
maybe that's the case.
There's going to be a sacrificial lamb. Somebody's going to have to go in on Ben Simmons and give the 76ers a ridiculous package to burst the bubble. You know, that's just how, and it's really unfortunate. I'm not a Daryl Morey guy. I think he's mishandled this situation something terrible. I think the Sixers should be contending for the number 1 spot in the East. I think that Ben Simmons should be already on a different team, and the Sixers should already be building chemistry and getting everyone on the same page with whoever they had gotten back in the Ben Simmons deal. But they're not doing that. And I think Daryl Morey is crazy if he thinks that any contender out West is going to give him their best player for Ben Simmons. That's not happening. It's just not. So we've seen this time and time again in sports, you know, whether it's Bryce Harper with the Nationals all those years ago. You know, I mean, there's so many examples of this, you know, the star player that the team didn't want to move, who's now leaving. You know, I mean, hell, over the summer we had the Aaron Rodgers saga, right? Where Aaron Rodgers wanted to be traded and didn't want to play, and then they got it all figured out, and now they're back in the divisional round. Like, we've seen this time and time again, man. And I just think that Daryl Morey is an idiot if he thinks Ben Simmons is going to play basketball again. Ben Simmons has already said he's happy to sit out the whole year. So why is it that Daryl Morey is trying to sell himself a story about Ben Simmons playing again? I just think it's bad business. I think it's not the way to have success in the NBA. And by the way, you play in the weaker conference. That needs to be said. You play in the Eastern Conference. Opportunity to get to the NBA Finals through the East is much greater than the opportunity in the West. I think we can all agree with that. So
yeah, I would agree.
I just think overall, you know, to put a bow around this conversation, I love what the Jazz are doing in terms of trying to get Marcus Smart. I think that would be a very pragmatic trade. I think they don't have to give up a ton to go and get Marcus Smart, and I think they could get draft capital back. So if that happens, if they check all those boxes, I'm a full supporter of that trade. And I think the Ben Simmons deal, if you follow the NBA closely, you know, once that deal happens, there's going to be a waterfall effect, and a ton of deals are going to go down. So will the Jazz get in on any of that is the question.
And my strong feeling is I don't think they will. I still maintain the Jazz don't make a transformative deal until the summer. You know, like I just don't see, you know, like I see a lot of people talking about the Jazz and the Sixers making a Ben Simmons deal. I just don't see how that works, right? I mean, I don't know, man. If I am the Jazz, it's really, I understand why it's difficult to be patient. I really do. Let's get some of your comments in here because I see a lot of people commenting. Cody Strickland says, good morning, men. It's really sad to hear about the Jazz yesterday. What about the Jazz yesterday? Frank H. says, I think the loss of Niang has hurt the team big time. I mean, as a guy, maybe. But, I mean, you've replaced his production. Certainly, I think Rudy Gay can certainly match anything that George Niang's done. So I don't know. I mean, chemistry is such a fickle friend, you know, like that's the whole thing with Joe Ingles. I mean, do you really want to trade a guy that's been a glue guy for you?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be emotional about it.
Yeah.
You have to make pragmatic business decisions.
It just
yeah, I agree. James Knight says, I'm not sure it's a given that Joe Ingles will continue his career at another franchise. He has a young family and wouldn't surprise me if he retired. He's getting a paycheck. I mean, after this season, I could see him retiring. But I would be surprised if he just up and quit during the season.
Yeah.
Eric DeVere says, trade Jingles and Royce. Also pick up Taco Fall as a cheap backup center. I mean, you have a backup center, don't you? I mean,
come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man. Cody Strickland says, I heard they're suffering a case of being little whining bitches syndrome. That could definitely be true. Is it true that we were on the phone for Ben Simmons asking for a friend? I have not heard one time that the Jazz are trying to get Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Because I again will just say you have nothing that Philadelphia wants other than Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, the Ben Simmons and Jazz thing to me is a convenient narrative. A lot of people want to say, "Oh, well, Ben Simmons, the Jazz could offer a ton to the Sixers," and I actually don't think that's true when you really get into it. And I'm not trying to get into some long, drawn-out discussion about what they could offer him, but I just think that it's not the right move. It's not the right time for the Jazz to go and get another player who's getting paid a ridiculous amount of money every single year. And by the way, Ben Simmons arguably, would be the best player on the team, him versus Don and that whole dynamic. So I just don't think it's the right time, and I don't think he's the right player for this team. I don't. I think that the Jazz need to go out and get the Marcus Smart level of player to add to the roster and to bring balance to the floor, and they can do that. So that's what I think they should be doing.
I think when you look at, I still will sit here and say what I've said all year and since last summer. They're going to trade Ben Simmons, right?
Well, you're not just going to let him sit there and do nothing, I would think.
But I have to think by the deadline you're going to trade Ben Simmons.
I would think, but I don't know, dude. I don't know, man.
I just would be stunned if he sat there. I hope the Jazz are not where he ends up. Because you're not going to trade Rudy Gobert to get Ben Simmons, and I just don't know how offensively you have those two guys on the floor at the same time.
Yeah,
I really don't. I think that makes
it's just not a good fit. On so many levels.
I don't love it. I really don't. The blind swordsman DS, is it true that we were on the phone for Ben Simmons asking for a friend? Eric DeVere says Jazz could be on the deal with Ben Simmons, but not to keep Ben, more like a third or fourth team. Sure.
Yeah.
If a Sacramento Ben Simmons trade goes through, you're going to need a third team in all likelihood.
Well, and I think the Jazz are understand that. Again, you're talking about a guy in Danny Ainge who's been around the block. He understands where this team is at. He understands the dynamic in the league. And I think that's why I say when the Ben Simmons deal goes down, I don't think the Jazz will be involved. But I do think the Jazz are going to try and get involved in all the deals that happen after the Ben Simmons deal as a third team or whatever. I just can't for the life of me believe that Danny Ainge wouldn't be trying to get involved in that. That just makes too much sense.
Look at that. DeMarcus Cousins was rumored yesterday to sign a one-year deal with the Lakers. Oh, not so much. Adrian Wojnarowski says DeMarcus Cousins will sign a 10-day contract with the Nuggets.
Come on, man.
Denver has 6 games in the next 10 days, and they need a body there for sure.
You have a deal.
By the way, Russell Westbrook also said he was disappointed in the benching, but said he understood it. What's best for our team is to win in the long run.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That sounds like a dude who understands he's going to be traded.
Yeah.
That's what that sounds like. So, and the Lakers are another team that a lot of people are interested in what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, Kay Nuring, good morning, too. She says the Jazz need to move on from Donnie's. Doesn't pass the ball anymore. I can't imagine Donovan Mitchell not being a Jazz.
We're not humoring that. Sorry.
With
all due respect.
Yeah,
we're not trading Donovan Mitchell.
I would not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Do we think we trade Rudy Gobert? Isn't his contract crazy to move? I don't see any way you trade Rudy right now.
Yeah.
The money you would have to send, I just don't see.
It's outlandish. The money that he's being paid is ridiculous.
Cody says, yeah, we only have Bogey, Joe, and Clarkson as tradable pieces, and the other teams want maybe Royce for a pick, but that's it. Yeah, I don't see any way that. That's why I said I think you have a lot more opportunity and a lot more wherewithal from other teams to make deals over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think, and usually that's when you're able to kind of remake your roster. The hard part is when you pay the luxury tax, you have to match dollar for dollar.
Yeah.
And the Jazz right now have a real problem salary-wise.
Yeah.
Their cap is not in a good place.
Well, and the other thing I think we have to say before we leave the conversation is that when you, as a Jazz fan, watch this team and how they operate at the trade deadline, how they operated this trade deadline will tell you exactly what they're going to do in the summer. If they don't make a ton of moves, let's just say, for example's sake, you go out, you get Marcus Smart, you get that pick, you move on from Bogey and let's say Joe. and that's all you do. Okay, that's telling you that they're going to wait for the summer to really I don't know, I don't want to say tear this team down, but to really make the big impactful moves. But let's say that they do the smart deal. They move on from Bogey and Joe. But let's say they also do another small deal. Let's say they trade Royce. Let's say that they, do these little let's say they traded Jordan Clarkson for a couple of picks and some money or something like that. I mean, that you have to watch this team and how Danny Ainge operates, because that's going to tell you what they're going to do in the summer. But I think, the more I think about the Lakers, the more I think the what they were running out there earlier this week about not trading Russ might just be a bunch of garbage. That they might just be duping the league a little bit and trying to fly under the radar for a little while. And then all of a sudden, Rob Pelinka's been on the phone for the last month putting deals together, and all of a sudden they drop 3-4 deals before the deadline's up. And now all of a sudden their team is locked and loaded. I could totally see that.
I could totally see that as well. I think the difference is that the LA Lakers have a bunch of guys that fit roles on other teams. And I still maintain the Houston Rockets are the most likely trade partner for the LA Lakers. John Wall and Eric Gordon are two pieces that the Rockets very much want to move. And they know that they're going to have to probably take a punch in the face to move John Wall's deal. And John Wall is a guy, and this is something that a lot of people also forget. He's not playing basketball right now. He is healthy. He's 100%. He is begging to play. He essentially is a mentor and a practice player for the Houston Rockets until they find a place to trade him.
I would love John Wall on this team.
Well, I mean, and that's one of the more interesting questions is, where does John Wall end up? And what happens when the Houston Rockets wind up moving John Wall? Because there's a lot of places that John Wall would be a pretty good fit. And Eric Gordon can still shoot the three.
Oh, yeah, he can.
And when you look at what the Lakers need, they need John Wall. They need Eric Gordon.
John Wall instead of Russell Westbrook would be life-changing.
I think it would. I mean, can you imagine the Lakers with a healthy John Wall, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis?
The problem, dude, I've lost my like for Anthony Davis. I got to tell you, man. The injury, and I know it's not his fault. I'm not saying that he's intentionally getting hurt, obviously, but the fact is your best ability is your availability.
Yes, it is.
The guy is never healthy, and yes, he hit that huge shot in the bubble to win them a championship. But what's he done? What have you done for me lately?
Well, and I also think
the street closed Davis.
Yeah, the Lakers are coming to a point where they're understanding that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're still getting an incredible performance out of LeBron James, but you're losing games.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is
not enough.
Because of Anthony Davis. But remember, before he got hurt, he was awkward. He wasn't shooting threes. They were really wanting him to play the 4. They've now figured out that LeBron James playing the 5 is a real solution. That is a real small ball lineup that's realistic for the LA Lakers, and they've found ways to be productive in those sets.
Yep.
They just need more.
Yep.
And Anthony Davis, should be reevaluated at the end of this week. We'll see if we get an update on that. But you should be also looking at the Lakers making substantial deals.
Yeah.
And I think if you're willing to send Talon Horton-Tucker to the Rockets to get John Wall and Eric Gordon, that's a deal you're going to make.
Yeah.
And they're going to take Russell Westbrook in return and probably buy him out.
Jesus,
I
dude.
mean,
that would just be – I don't mean to wax poetic about what that team could be, but that could be a real problem.
Well, and that's why I say I think that there's a lot of people who overlook these guys that are just sitting on the sideline.
It's kind of wild how that's played out in the NBA, man. There's been a lot of guys like the Lance Stevenson thing, absolute revelation. I mean, one of the best stories in the NBA. Like, I know Lance Stevenson is kind of an odd personality, but that's a great story, man. That is a great story.
I think it's very interesting to see where all these deals happen. Kelsey Hamer says, dude, so the Jazz are basically deadlocked right now. They're just in a really difficult spot.
I mean, you could say that. I don't think that that's an exaggeration or a stretch. I think that the issue is that your money situation, like the money situation wouldn't be nearly as bad as it is if you had draft capital to work with.
Yes.
Right? But because you don't have basically any draft capital until 2028 right now, you can't trade draft picks as value to fix this roster. So what you end up having to do is trade, Joe and Bogey to go get Marcus Smart and hope that the Celtics are willing to give you that second-round pick. You're having to make deals like that. And the problem is other teams know that and can see that and understand it. So you're not the team that has the leverage. You're at the behest of what other teams want.
Correct.
And that's the issue.
Yeah, and I just think that you have to be very careful. Any deal you make that where you take money back is a deal that is going to make your life more difficult, not better.
Yeah.
So, Coach Josh Lovering, good morning to you. Excuse me. I'm dying. Lovering says, could the Jazz put a package together for Kevin Porter Jr.? Why would they move Kevin Porter Jr.?
Yeah, I don't think they would, dude.
Because, Kevin Porter Jr. has finally found his brain and his game together. And that's a young core that is a handful.
Yeah.
That is a handful. Much like your butthole right now because you continue to methane this room.
No, I do not, dude.
Again.
What are you talking about, bro?
You are a gas
dude,
man.
what are you talking about?
Stop disrespecting me, bro.
Yeah, come on,
terrible.
dude. Like, what are you doing, bro?
It's terrible
Come on.
right
I
now.
did not fart again.
You did.
No, I didn't.
The Blind Swordsman DS says, no, Gobert is not the most impactful player the Jazz could get another big right now, and he could be as good as Rudy.
Shout out to Mo Bamba.
Rudy Gobert is an elite defensive player. Mo Bamba ain't even in the conversation, yo. Rudy Gobert is an incredibly impactful player. He is an elite defender. I think it'd be very difficult to replace his impact defensively. You would essentially have to the Utah Jazz, as I say every day, are built around the wrong guy. They're built around Rudy Gobert right now, and that's why you're not winning. That's why you're capped, because you cannot just feed into Rudy Gobert and think that that's a long-term defensive solution.
Yeah.
Because it's not. Kelsey Hamer says you could funnel the whole defense to Giannis, and he would be as effective as Rudy. I disagree.
Oh, he'd be
with that.
twice as effective as Rudy overall. I think Giannis is. I agree with the logic there. I think Giannis is way more athletic than Rudy is. Rudy has length on Gobert or on Giannis. I mean. But I think Giannis is more effective because he's a better athlete, and I think that's what gives him the edge.
I think Rudy Gobert is a better defender than Giannis, and I think Giannis has become an elite offensive player now because he can shoot. And I just don't see Rudy ever getting there.
I'm not trying to hate on Rudy, but I don't know that I agree that he's a better defender than Giannis. I think Giannis can cover more ground. Giannis can guard the perimeter and the paint. Giannis is intimidating.
I don't think Giannis is a guy that is asked to do what Rudy's asked to do.
That's fair.
I think there's a big part
but
of
we
that.
we get, you know what we get though? We get the Giannis huge block to define the game in the postseason against the Suns type play. And I think that's what solidifies him as an MVP every year, I feel like.
I don't disagree with that. I really don't. I think it is. I think there's a lot at work here for the Jazz. I think you have the wrong players for the wrong system. You have the wrong coach and the wrong system for the players that you have. And I think you made massive mistakes salary-wise. I think you hitched your wagon to Rudy Gobert and you thought that everything would be better, and it's not. And I think that you need to remake this team around Donovan Mitchell. And I think Donovan Mitchell needs to grow up. He needs to become
Agreed.
He needs to become the star player that he believes he is, and he needs to live that truth every single day.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to demonstrate that by his play on the floor. I mean, I look at the Devin Booker block last night, and those two, I think, will probably forever be compared to each other. I look at the Devin Booker block last night. If you've ever wondered if Devin Booker's a willing, good defender, that was on full display
Hell
last
of a play,
night.
dude. Hell of a
And
play.
Devin Booker won them the game in Dallas in a close game, where the Phoenix Suns had to fight tooth and nail to get by Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Booker with a critical three late, a critical block late, and critical free throws late.
Wet like I'm booked.
I mean, the turnaround bank shot he hit was incredible. I mean, that's what you're missing with Donovan Mitchell. You are missing that defense, and you are missing that leadership by example. On the floor.
Yeah.
So I think Devin has has grown a lot. I think that Donovan Mitchell has to grow now. and you need to build this team around him.
Yeah.
And I just don't know you'll ever be able to do that. I'll just maintain you won't win a championship with Rudy Gobert as your focal point.
Yeah.
You just won't.
All right. We got to talk football because we're already running out of time, dude.
Yeah. James Knight says Jake may need the ass vacuum this morning.
I don't know. Yeah, no. I'm dude. It's an outlandish accusation to say that I farted a second time because I didn't.
Go.
I definitely crop dusted the set when I rolled up. No doubt. Definitely did.
You're such a jerk.
But, I mean, that was your fault because you squeezed me. I was trying to get by, and,
I squeezed you.
Yeah.
Think that's HIPAA?
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
Quinn Snyder has had embarrassing losses in the playoffs year after year, and any other coach on any other team would not still have his job. I totally disagree with that. I think that Quinn Snyder's made mistakes, and is it time for a new coach? Yes, it is. Would any other general manager have fired Quinn Snyder? No, they wouldn't have. He's done a very, very good job here.
Yeah.
He has done a very good job here. So, we'll see. All right, let's switch gears and talk NFL. By the way, you want to stick around because do we just throw that thing on the table now, or when do we do this?
You want me to take it out?
Do you always have to make everything about your penis?
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
You are phallically obsessed.
Come on, man.
I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, do you want to do this now?
Sure. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
we
whip
can do
it out.
now. All right.
Put it on the table. You need to pick up these fine these shoes. This is one of the greatest shoes ever.
Man, yeah.
But we're gonna have to replace it.
Wow.
Hey, look at what do we have here?
Oh man.
What do we have here? That would be an Xbox Series X.
Well.
4K gaming, 8K high dynamic range, a terabyte of storage. I mean, are you kidding me with this thing? Let's pull this back a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
Like right there so everybody can see it.
Do you see us working? Do you see us working now?
I see us working.
I mean, come on, dude.
4K Blu-ray player, variable refresh rates, a terabyte of solid state storage.
Bro, this is the best of the best for Microsoft right here. You guys get that? Like this is we pulled some strings to get this.
Uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh.
What?
Eric DeVera said, I just received a text and it says Jake farted again.
Well,
anyway, the point is,
Stop disrespecting me, bro.
we're giving away this Xbox Series X. A, you have to be a subscriber. B, by the way, look what that's a t-shirt that Jake's holding up. If you buy a t-shirt from us, you'll get 4 entries for every t-shirt that you purchased. So all you need to do is subscribe to the channel. Are we going to do like we've talked about this in vagary.
yeah.
Subscribe to the channel. You need to tweet at us or Instagram at us. Tag us that you subscribed, and you're entered to win the Xbox.
Yep. And
Now-
if you buy a shirt,
You get 4 entries to win the Xbox.
and every shirt you buy, it's 4 more entries.
That's what I'm saying.
What else is there to say, dude?
Kelsey Hamer says Monty for the win.
Yeah, dude. Xbox Series X. And by the way, we got more heat coming too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
James Knight says, my guess is we'll see Growcock enter the comments again.
Yeah, hey, I'm just saying, you guys should look up to Growcock as a role model on the show. For those of you who don't know, Growcock was an individual who was on the show quite a while ago. He lives in Australia. And we did a giveaway for an Xbox Series S, as in Sam. He came into the comments section and made a proposal. He said, if I can get 10 people to agree that I should win this Xbox, you guys got to give it to me on the show today. And what did he get?
He got like 30 people.
He got like 30 people who supported him, and we gave it away. So Growcock kind of was a trendsetter. So just saying, like, you guys should look up to him, But now we got something better. Series X, what else do you want from us, We got on the phone. We made the deal. We're now a championship contender. What else is there to say?
I don't know. Like what I would say is...
What I would say is buy shirts. Literally just buy shirts. Because if you were to spend, what, $50, 2 shirts, 8 entries?
We only have 6 of these shirts left, by the way.
Yeah,
so
we have to get more.
There's only 6 shirts to get you. That's 24 entries.
Just saying.
So once we sell out of shirts, we're gonna make new ones, and then we'll do it all over again. But when do we want to give this Xbox away? I say we do it at 3,000.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it at 3,000. What are we at, 2,700 right now?
2,700 something.
Get your friends involved, man. Get them on the show. Let's go.
27, 18. Yeah, and seen a bunch of people subscribed. You're getting
Well.
You're picking this up.
Well.
18 subscribers today.
Okay.
So I would tell you to get after it. Click subscribe. Give us a thumbs up right now. All you have to do is take a picture that you're subscribed. Chris Karn says, I called my shot. Thanks again for the smoker. I'm almost positive my wife would love me to get another Xbox, Chris P says.
Hey, listen, man. Listen. I buy shirts.
James Knight says, if Jake admits he farted several times, can I get the Xbox? Sure. Jake?
Yeah, I haven't farted, dude.
There you go.
Sorry, James. I can't do that, dude.
Not a bad giveaway for the former local radio hack, right?
Yeah, dude. I mean, we're just a bunch of hacks who aren't right about anything. We've been right about everything so far. We're not right about anything. But Xbox Series X, by the way, keep this in mind. This thing's like $800 or whatever it is. You could spend like $50 and win it.
Cody Strickland wants to know, does mine count now since I bought the other day? Well, Cody, you just won. Didn't he just win the Xbox the other day? Didn't he win it?
Yeah, we just dropped it off to him.
We just gave it to you.
But now he's like, well, you got the better product.
Greg Hawkins says, I don't think I would ask for anything. I just like listening to the show. Maybe if you get another smoker to give away.
Okay.
So the smoker apparently went over really well.
How many people like because it's the middle of winter right now. So like, let's talk about this. Let's have a conversation. How many people would want a smoker?
Yeah.
We're open to ideas, by the way. I feel like people don't realize this. If you came into the comments and we got a bunch of people saying they want a smoker, I mean, I can't guarantee anything, but the odds of a smoker showing up on this desk might go up, Yep. I'm a selfish a-hole. I want more, Cody Strickland says. Well, hey, man.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Smoke every day, Kelsey Hamer says. Not weed.
Not weed, like a Traeger.
Ignore the haters. You've been most right. Yeah, we've done pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm
just telling you guys now. I'm just gonna give you a little hint.
18 pounds of brisket coming out of the freezer for an 18-hour smoke next week.
Bro, we have major heat coming after this. So I'm just telling you, like, we got it on order.
Yeah, you should subscribe now because
I mean, I'm talking about like a tower.
Monday, like there's this whole area up here is going to be full Monday.
Yeah. So, you might want to get subscribed. You might want to buy a shirt. And,
just saying. For 10K followers, you guys will give away Jake's car, right? Yep. The Subies, we're giving it away at 10,000 followers.
Yeah, man. I mean, I literally, we can make that happen.
N. Garcia says, I must have come at a bad time. Thought this was a jazz podcast. This is worse than Lockdown Jazz Show.
Actually, it is a jazz podcast. We've actually been we've been live
the show for
an hour. So it's not that you came at a bad time. You're late. So wait for us after the show, and we'll cut a video like we do literally every day, as you can see on our channel.
You could just go back to the beginning.
Or you could go back to the beginning.
Sorry, didn't mean to announce a major prize giveaway that we're doing for
an Xbox Series X, which is super hard to give away. Yeah, thanks.
You know.
Probably, by the way, too, I just want to point this out. For your first comment to come in and say that the show sucks because you came in at a bad time, probably not the most ideal way to, enter into the comment section.
No. And Garcia, we'll see you later. Where is the Salt Lake Bees podcast, Josh?
I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Salt Lake Bees, Utah State, Weber.
Oh, that's funny.
Facts.
Not just hook me up and we'll call it good. And Garcia says, yeah, probably not. Buy a shirt.
Yeah, hook yourself up. Hook yourself up. DM us, buy a shirt. Here,
by the way,
let me show the shirt again.
If you want to buy one of our 6 remaining shirts,
yeah.
I'm impressed with how much you guys have supported the shirt stuff.
Yeah.
It's $25. DM me on Twitter or Instagram. We'll give you our Venmo.
We send them out every Saturday, so we'll be sending out a bunch of them tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is, man.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Best NBA Jazz content on YouTube. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
Speaking of NBA and Jazz, let's talk NFL playoffs real quick before we get to fast food inflation.
Do you want me to play some NFL music while we do this? Do you think that would be...
Do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. Hey, there we go. All right. Let's talk NFL
Divisional weekend.
picks. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Right now, you got to pick one. Super Bowl, go.
The Bills.
You're taking the Buffalo Bills.
Dude, that was an ass kicking, bro. I'm
So-
talking almost 50 points on the hoodie.
So you're telling me they're going to go to Kansas City this weekend
Yes.
and win?
Yes.
No chance.
Yes, they are.
You really think?
Yes.
No way.
Yep.
I'm telling you, I don't see any way. I don't see any way they go there and win.
How do you not see any way they go there and win? What do you mean? How does that work?
I think the Kansas City Chiefs are finally getting their offense right. And I know that right now Kansas City and Buffalo essentially is a pick 'em in Vegas. That number's 54, which tells you that they're probably going to score a lot of points.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City is going to win that game, and I think it's probably going to be by 10 points.
No. We disagree on this one. I think Kansas City has been disappointing all year. I think they're trying to find their way right now still. And they have. I mean, they've definitely been playing better. But I think the Bills are playing the best football they've ever played. I think Josh Allen's playing out of his mind. That game last week against the Patriots wasn't even close. I mean, the Patriots, like, you can say the Patriots didn't show up. I prefer to say that the Bills just dominated that football game. And I think that if there was ever a team to go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs, it would be a very gritty, a very tough Bills team that could just kick your ass physically in the trenches, and I think that's what ultimately decides football games.
Kansas City is going to win 72-4.
Okay, good. Yep, good.
I like the Chiefs to win probably 34-28, 34-24, something like that. I think that Buffalo's a really good team. I think going to Arrowhead and expecting to win in the playoffs is crazy. The other Sunday game is my favorite game of the weekend. It is the Rams at Tampa.
Yeah.
Tom Terrific.
TB12.
Tampa favored by 3. The number's 48.5. They're expecting a defensive struggle, low-scoring game. Man, I want to pick the Rams in this game, but Tom Brady against Matthew Stafford, don't you have to lean Tom Brady?
You have to. Everyone right now on ESPN and all the pundits are saying that Rams defensive line against the Bucs offensive line. Here's the problem with that take. Tom Brady's not going to have the football. They are going to scheme to get rid of the ball and get Cooper Kupp involved early. Or not Cooper Kupp. I misspoke there. Mike Evans to get him involved early. And I just think that they're not going to allow Aaron Donald and that defensive front to get to Tom. I think the game plan is to get the ball out, move the ball down the field. And if that happens, I just don't see how the Rams win the game.
Yeah, I think that Tristan Wirfs is a huge question mark in this game.
Yep.
I think if they're going to win this game, Fournette and Gronkowski both have to play at 100%. And I just don't see any way that Leonard Fournette with this hamstring injury can be 80%. And he's not cleared to play right now. They don't have to make that decision until tomorrow. If Fournette does not play, I don't see any way that Tampa wins this game. I'm leaning Rams right now in a very, very close game.
Yeah.
How many interceptions does Matthew Stafford throw? That's my biggest question. And if they control the ball, and they will, I'm going to take the Rams to win by a field goal.
Got balls, dude.
I do, and they're huge. They're huge, my balls. But I think there you go. I'm going to take the Rams to win. Saturday, Joe Burrow, Smoking Joe.
Cigar Joe.
Smashville versus Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry looks like he's going to play in this game on some level. The question is how much or how little, which is why the Tennessee Titans are a 3.5-point home favorite. So essentially it's a pick 'em because the home team always gets 3. The Titans are going to win this game. I like Smoking Joe. The Bengals ain't it this year. This is a tough place to go. I think we're going to get Chiefs and Titans for the AFC Championship.
Yeah, I have to agree. I feel like the Bengals Cinderella story does come to an end, but I think this is going to be a hell of a football game. I think this is going to be a tough one. I think, the Titans are going to try and run it down the Bengals' throat with Derrick Henry, but I think at some point this game will be in question, and it's just going to be a matter of, obviously who turns it over less. So,
yeah.
But I still think I agree with you. The Titans will win it.
Yeah, I got to take the Titans, and then I think the game of the weekend is probably going to be the San Francisco 49ers going to Green Bay's Lambeau Field. Those fucking pricks. Sorry.
COVID toe.
My bad. They're going to Green Bay to take on Aaron Rodgers, who got dumped this week because he's a dick. Aaron Rodgers is finally going to get over on the San Francisco 49ers, mainly because Jimmy Garoppolo
Jimmy G
is not a guy that I trust to play in cold weather or play quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I know he played last week, but it was Mike McCarthy in Dallas. And
Yeah.
Fathead didn't call the right timeout at the right play to make the things win and shit.
No, he didn't.
So I'm going to take Green Bay, and I think it's going to be handily. I think they're going to win by 10.
Yeah, I would agree. I would be shocked if they didn't.
Yes,
they
Pack,
should
yes.
handle. Yeah, yes, Pack, yes, unfortunately.
Because if they win,
We're gonna get Tom in TB12.
we're going to get the Rams going to Lambeau.
Yeah. Okay.
So we disagree on this.
Yes, we do.
Who's coming out of the NFC to go to the Super Bowl?
TB12.
Really?
Yeah, I think he upsets the Rams. Then I think he goes and gives Aaron Rodgers some more wood, and I think he plays for another Super Bowl.
More wood.
Yeah, I think he's Scotty Miller's AR-12 again.
I would love AR-12.
Yeah.
Okay. No. I would love to see the Packers lose. I just don't think it happens.
Yeah, I think, the Cocoa Toe's not going to hold Aaron Rodgers back,
Are you done?
My
Are
bad.
you done?
Sorry.
It's
Sorry.
By the way, it's Friday.
Yeah, thank you.
So I've got the Titans, the Chiefs, the Rams, and the Packers.
There you go.
And I would love to say the Packers would lose, but I just don't think they will. All right,
Yeah,
let's
all
see
right.
what Chal say about this. C. Shiver says, I thought this was a Salt Lake Golden Eagles podcast. Okay.
Unfortunately, you just can't cover it all,
Chris P. says, Ram-a-llama ding-dong, baby.
Okay.
Cody Strickland says, Buccaneers and Bills. Buccaneers win. James Knight says, you got to love these blow-ins that come in and diss the show. Ship off and Garci.
Come on, man.
Kelsey Hamerson's Rams will win or the Bucks. One of those two.
He said blow-ins.
Yeah, blow-ins. I agree. Kay Nurin says, all I got to say is go, Danny, go.
Yeah.
Sean
seriously.
Mierzinski, what's up? Says, Rams going to win. The Buccaneers have line problems. Okay. Sean Mierzinski says Tennessee. Kelsey Hamer says Titans about to smoke out the Bengals.
Hey, just real quick, we have ESPN on in the background. They're literally just playing a highlight reel of all of Russell Westbrook's bricks, dude.
Do you believe that Stephen A. Smith almost died from the cocoa?
Yeah, I do.
You think the vid almost got him?
I think so, yeah.
The vid,
vid,
cocoa.
dude. Yes, dude, I think it did.
Yeah.
I think it did, yeah.
Supposedly, Stephen A. Smith almost died in the hospital from the cocoa.
Coronavirus.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Things happen.
Almost doesn't count. Quentin Moyer says Fred Warner going to get an interception during the playoffs. Well, he's healthy.
Yeah.
He's not on the injury report. Kelsey Hamer says Rams. James Knight says, who do you guys hate more, Aaron Rodgers or Rudy Gobert?
Your mom.
You going to leave me hanging here?
Yes.
That's right. Jimmy Archipelago can't hang in Green Bay weather.
Archipelago.
I would agree with that. Kelsey Hamer says COVID toe. Coco.
Yeah, Coco.
Anyone know if Rodgers is immunized? I don't know.
Yeah, I've been immunized.
Okay, he is. Apparently,
we've got sound. He called the show, and
I've been immunized.
Oh, the Russians are back. The
Damn
bots
it.
are back. Oh,
Bet you weren't expecting this one.
yeah, the bots are back. And Garci says James K is full of negative energy. Well, you did come in here and tell us the show sucks in Garci. So.
Yeah, so what negative energy are you talking about, bud? By the
Yeah.
way, James K has been a listener for probably a year and a half at this point, and you've been here for 5 minutes. So not trying to kick you out, but just saying, I can personally test that James K is not full of negative energy.
Well, but he does owe us 4x gold.
Yeah. So let's go. Ship it off.
Yeah, where is
And no, shipping us 4X gold does not mean you win the Xbox Series X.
I mean, if you send 2 12ers, maybe it does. Kelsey Hamer says, Monty, we are moving to Pittsburgh, and I'm going to expose your show to the Pittsburgh market. Well, that's a felony, depending on if there's kids around, so I'd be careful about that. Kay Nurin says, Niners. Alex says, have you ever been so far as to even pretend to even want to go more like? Not really sure what that means, Alex. I do know that acid's not good for your brain.
Shit, let's go.
Fat Jesus says Tampa has no chance. Did you see what the Rams did last week? They made the Cardinals look like, the Cardinals.
Well,
Did you hear the story about Cliff Kingsbury getting into a fight with Michael Bidwell?
allegedly.
So the story goes that Drunky the Clown, Michael Bidwell, and Cliff Kingsbury are in a room fighting with each other, and they almost fired him. You know. Fat Jesus, appreciate you. And Garcia says your mom. Greg Hawkins says, hey, guys, good vibes right now. Yeah, me too. We agree.
It's Friday, bro.
You know. I'm just saying. Cody Strickland says, gotta go, boys. I'll finish later. I've heard that about you.
Yeah, we've heard that.
He says, have a bad weekend.
Thank
too.
you. Thank you, Cody. I like how everyone's trolling this Garcia guy now. Oh, man, dude.
To be clear, it's N space Garcia.
Oh, and Garcia. Got it.
Can we get that right, please?
My bad.
Can we get that right, please? People are asking where Mrs. Monty is.
Well,
you know, she decided that
like N. Garcia, she's late to the show today.
yeah, she's crabby. She's not in a good mood.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Do we?
But, you know.
Visual opportunities here.
There she is. There she is. You. Yeah, who would have? You're not supposed to be seen. You're supposed to be heard. In the kitchen making food.
The voice of reason.
No, you're not the voice of reason. Stop it. I thought she was going to hit me. Anyway, do you guys even watch the NFL? We don't.
No, we don't watch the NFL. We're a couple of hacks. We don't watch Jazz games. You know.
Yeah,
it's just kind of what we do.
All right, couple of non-sports stories.
Yeah, can you turn the drops up a little bit?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a little quiet over here. All right, go ahead.
What do you mean? The drops are all the way up, by the way.
Okay, thank you. Perfect.
I don't remember the first non-sports story we were going to talk about.
Netflix.
Oh, yeah. TV. So in the comments, hit me with where you guys watch TV, because obviously there's a lot of people who aren't cable or dish anymore. I'm a DirecTV loyalist. I love DirecTV.
Me too.
I mean, it's what I do.
Hundo P, bruh.
Yep. Are you a cable subscriber? Is that still real? Is cable still a thing?
I don't know. Is
don't
cable
think so.
still a thing?
You know, and Garcia says this is how you treat new listeners. Well, you came in and said the show sucks.
Yeah, this is how you treat new shows, bro. Come on now. Come on, dude.
You know. Is cable still a thing? It is, but does anybody subscribe to cable?
I don't. Not that I know of, but I would love to hear. I mean, if you have cable, what do you have? What are the options? Is Xfinity or whatever still? Isn't that a cable offering from Xfinity?
I thought Xfinity was internet.
Is it just internet? It's not TV?
It could be TV. Cable. Is it cable? Yeah. I don't know. Fat Jesus Fat Jesus says I watch in my bedroom. Eric C says I'm guilty of watching Family Feud on my cable after work some days.
So cable is still a thing.
Yeah, Chris Karn says YouTube TV.
Okay,
here's
YouTube
the thing.
TV. Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Chris Karn's also going ice fishing tomorrow, and he wants to know how many you're going to catch. A baker's dozen, bro.
Damn.
What are you talking about? Can we ban Garcia? LOL. James wants to know. No.
Nah, fam.
Jeremy Bolton says no cable. I got Hulu Live and got all the sports I need.
See? Okay, Hulu is a big thing right now.
Hulu Live's a big deal. Now, here's the deal. Netflix yesterday announced their new subscribers.
Yeah.
And this is kind of moronic to me because apparently Netflix pissed off a bunch of Wall Street people. And Netflix lost a bunch of stock price because they announced that they only have like 220 million subscribers.
Only.
When they announced that, their stocks plummeted 20%. It was the worst day for Netflix since 2014. And the question of competition is even more crucial as Netflix raised its price from $13.99 to $15.49 per month. And I just don't understand this. Netflix has a ton of subscribers. A ton.
Yeah.
And people are upset about it. They added 20 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Why is that a problem? Well, they're saying it's a problem because the pandemic was a subscriber boom for all of the streaming services.
The coronavirus.
Yeah. And now people are trying to figure out why or how to keep that boom going.
Yeah.
And the thing that's happening now is like production of shows like Bridgerton's a big one for Netflix.
Yeah.
Bridgerton is like shows like that are in full production. The
Ozarks.
The Coco. Ozarks. Like the Coco is kind of tamped down now.
The coronavirus.
So like all these shows are back in production.
For all the ladies out there, did you see the new Audi commercial with the guy from Bridgerton? That'll sell cars. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Brit's about the guy from the Audi commercial.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn off our microphone now. That dude from Bridgerton, I'd hit
Mean.
that.
Mean.
I'd hit
mean.
that. Yeah, whatever he is, I'd hit that. That's a good looking dude.
Well, yeah.
That is, he's
But
got to
the
be.
problem is he's in an electric Audi, and that's not,
I
want it.
I would agree with that. By the way, did you see that Netflix announced that Squid Game will have at least 2 more seasons?
Let's go.
Brutal.
Let's go, dude.
At least 2 more
Brutal.
seasons, says. So they're calling it the Squid Game universe. But the thing that I don't
Is that like
understand.
Meta? It's like a bad version of Meta. So the Squid Game universe, you just get constantly attacked and put in really stressful situations where you might die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
but
sounds like fun.
here's the thing I don't understand. I don't subscribe. I subscribe to Disney Plus, or used to. We have HBO Max free through DirecTV. We subscribe to both Amazon Prime and Netflix. Right? But the main thing I watch is my DVR. Like last night, we watched another spectacular episode of Chicago PD.
Right.
And Flip or Flop. Like, I'm watching those shows, right? But you look at the number of subscribers. Netflix has 220 million global subscribers. They picked up 8 million subscribers in the fourth quarter, and their stock price tumbled yesterday. Disney Plus, including Hotstar, whatever the hell Hotstar is, only has 118 million subscribers. Hulu, video on demand, has 39.7 million subscribers.
Yeah.
ESPN Plus is up to 22.9 million subscribers. Like, it seems to me that these are all very healthy. Jeff Bezos says that, or the last time they gave numbers, he said that over 175 million people use Amazon Prime Video. The problem is you get it with your Prime membership, so they don't give out subscriber numbers.
Yeah.
So, to me, I just don't understand why this is a problem.
Because I think that the stockholders want Netflix to continue to grow at a ridiculous rate, and that's
But
just
it
not how
is.
it's going to work.
But it is.
But it's not growing at the pandemic level rate.
Because I think more people are back to work.
Yeah.
I think people are far less dependent on streaming services for entertainment. Like, we're all watching TV the way we've always watched TV. Now, Mrs. Monty forces us to watch some crappy shows on different streaming services.
And as you can see, I'm going through some shit right now.
Some of the movies you've picked recently have been terrible.
Like, what are some of the movies?
What are some of the movies you've made us watch recently? I can't think of them, but you like, Bridgerton was good. Squid Games was a you thing.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm trying to think of the movie you made us watch 2 weekends ago. That was just a terrible movie. I can't remember what it was.
Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up was not a good movie.
You just don't have a sense of humor.
It was
Are
not.
you out of your goddamn mind?
Yeah, the whole Don't Look Up, asteroid killing the Earth thing. It was funny. It wasn't good.
It was all right.
And it was not a good Christmas Day one either, by the way. But anyway, here nor there. I don't. Hotstar is a Disney-owned international streaming service, Josh Lovren says. Never heard of it. Sounds like Netflix is a buy, Kelsey Hamer says. I'd buy it. I'd buy stock in Netflix right now because it's low. Greg Hawkins says these numbers are pretty low. Hawkins, in the Philippines, how do you guys watch TV? Like, are you a streamer or are you well, Greg Hawkins is a TV star.
Yeah. He's providing the content to be streamed.
That's correct. I would agree. And God, you son of a Russians. And then finally, before we go,
Yeah.
are you nervous that fast food is seeing inflation?
Everything is seeing inflation. Everything.
No cable, YouTube TV, love Hallmark, K. Nurin says.
Okay. So YouTube TV's doing well.
Yep. Hold on. Jeremy Bolton says, yeah, Hulu Live DVR fast forward sucks. Okay. Cam Harrison says DirecTV stream. Hulu Live does not let you fast forward through commercials, even if the show is saved. Oh,
It sucks.
that sucks. And I did subscribe and gave the show a thumbs up. And Garcia says, appreciate you being
Thanks,
here.
bud. Appreciate
Welcome to the show. Do you guys even watch Netflix? Jeremy Bolton wants to
No,
know.
we don't.
No,
We don't, dude. We don't. Nope. Nope.
We don't.
Nope. Nope.
We
Nope.
don't.
Nope.
Donovan, no D. Mitchell for Ben Simmons. Win-win for all. And Garcia says, okay, now I have to block
Donovan, no D. Mitchell. That's great.
you know, in the Philippines, most people watch either Netflix or network television. Network television is still king out here. There's a couple of local Netflix competitors as well that take away from Netflix. Ooh, really? That's funny. Juan Barraco says, love the channel, guys. Greetings from Uruguay, South America. Appreciate you being
Greetings.
here. By the way, we're giving away another Xbox Series
run
X.
through it again. How are we getting it done? Let's go.
If you buy a T-shirt, you get 4 entries into the Xbox. We'll give this away
At 3,000 subs.
at 3,000.
Yeah.
We'll give this away. So buy a T-shirt. Just DM me on Twitter or Instagram. We're working on a storefront, a digital storefront, so you don't have to DM us. But right now it's Venmo. The shirts are $25. We have 6 left. XL and 2X are available. Let's talk about fast food inflation.
Yeah.
By the way, I ate at Cafe Rio yesterday.
It's freaking bomb.
I had chicken
It was
tacos with
good,
lettuce and
dude.
pico, and it was amazing.
It was good.
John Jackson wants to know if we're going to squeeze Jake at the end of the show. No, he's sitting here farting already. I don't have
Dude,
to
I'm
squeeze
not
him.
farting, man. Like, it's offensive.
So we went to Cafe Rio yesterday.
Yeah.
Inflation, however, excuse me while I choke. Inflation is devastating the fast food industry, where you can get a job now for $16.83 per hour.
Right.
McDonald's reports earnings this month. It is expected that they will surpass $23 billion,
They ain't hurting.
a $2 billion increase year over year.
Well,
Net income.
You know.
Net income after all of their $16.83 employees and stuff is predicted to top $7 billion in net income. It's garbage. Up from $6 billion year over year.
You know, that's just not very good. That's not going to be good enough, right?
No.
$7 billion.
What about Chipotle? Chipotle for 2021, and analysts expect $7.5 billion, 34% increase year over year.
What's up, motherfuckers?
Net income is expected to almost double from pre-pandemic levels.
Dude,
The company repurchased nearly $100 million of its stock in the third quarter.
I'm telling you, they're a juggernaut. Telling
Chipotle
you.
executive blamed higher labor costs for a 4% price increase. So wait, let me get this right. You're raising your prices, so the price of getting salmonella poisoning at Chipotle went up.
Yep.
It's quite simple, so I don't know why motherfuckers be overcomplicating it.
I'm being a jerk. So the price of a Big Mac went up. All of these prices go up. Does anybody complain about the prices being higher? Do you care that 3 tacos at Cafe Rio are now more expensive?
It's not high enough yet to bother me. And that's just the truth of it.
Is the cost of convenience worth it?
Yeah, right now it still is. It's still, the ratios are still correct. It is still cheap enough that the convenience factor still is worth it.
Because I got to tell you right now, I'm not going to do DoorDash or any of the food delivery services. It's so exorbitantly expensive.
Yeah.
Cafe Rio yesterday for a tostada salad and 6 tacos was $44.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
Well, Jake got 3. So yeah, by the way, Jake was a leech yesterday.
Bro, don't try to paint me like that. You didn't have
did
your
you
wallet.
bring your wallet to Chipotle?
No, but neither
Cafe
did
Rio?
you. I could have easily paid and you didn't let me.
Right.
Bro, yeah, I know. That's how we paid.
No.
He wouldn't
What
let
do you
me
mean,
pay.
What do you mean we?
He didn't let me pay.
What do you mean we?
And now you're trying to say that, come on now.
Next question.
That's how I paid.
Bro, you wouldn't let me pay for my lunch.
Okay, but that doesn't mean you paid anyway. Didn't see you reaching for your wallet.
Because I didn't have my wallet. I
There
had
you
my
go.
phone. It was wide open, ready to go.
Which works just fine.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Anyway, do you guys care about the cost of fast food? Because we don't eat much fast food. But we haven't gone grocery shopping since like last week. So I'm out of bags of vegetables, and I'm not eating corn anymore, not after the destruction of my
Yeah, well, you've been
region.
sitting on the set farting this whole time.
I haven't. Not one time have I farted
Oh,
today.
Yeah.
I
okay.
admit when I do.
You're a fart denier.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah?
That's what they all say.
Okay. You're angry and bitter today.
What?
But my point is, like, do you guys care about that? We don't eat much fast food, and when we do, by the way, I would like to say I am all in on Jersey Mike's. I am all the way in on Jersey Mike's. That doesn't make me fart.
Uh-oh. Venmo notification.
Nice.
Bro, whoa, Justin getting in.
Who's
Justin, let's see what the last name is here. Or just say
Justin Salas.
Justin Salas.
My guy.
2XLs, $50, 8 entries, my guy.
Yes,
okay,
Monty.
Bro.
Get that Jersey Mike's, Greg Hawkins says.
Okay, Justin, we see you, bro.
Jeremy Bolton says, do you guys even watch McDonald's? Did you guys get soggy tortillas with your order at Cafe Rio? No, because we don't allow them to put the pico on the taco. They give it to us on the side.
Can you check real quick for me? Can you check your DMs and see if Justin DM'd you? Just because, we just want to make sure we got his information.
Oh, we'll get it.
Yeah.
I talk to Justin pretty regularly. That's my dude. I appreciate that. He hasn't, but he will. I got to tell you, though, I love Jersey Mike's. I don't know why I stopped going to Jersey Mike's.
Number 8, Mike's Way, barbecue chips, bomb.
They were sold out of barbecue chips the other day. I get a turkey provolone. My wife gets a veggie. And they were sold out of barbecue chips. But I don't eat the chips. I'm fat.
Well,
Jersey Mike's is amazing.
It's by far the best sandwich place, in my opinion. It's better than Jimmy John's. It's better than Firehouse. Better than Subway.
Fat.
Yeah, well.
Gotta get the Justin Salas says, gotta get that Xbox. Haha, will work for night shirts.
Let's go.
Exactly right.
Let's
I
go.
would buy a shirt, but I'm a size small, medium. Next run, I promise you guys, we will go from small to 2X.
Yeah, we'll have full range.
So many people have asked us for extra small, small, and medium. So, and maybe we'll put that order up this weekend.
Yeah,
we will.
We will. Yeah,
we're down to 4
we'll place a
shirts
new order
now.
this weekend. We'll get more stock in, and
yeah. Jake, you could have Venmo'd him for your portion. Jake doesn't pay for anything these days at all. I think Jersey Mike's is the best fast food sandwich, period.
Yeah.
There is, what's that place, Mrs. Monty, that sandwich place where I get that cranberry turkey, you get that
Village
veggie?
Baker.
Village Baker in the district. Stop. Village Baker in the district with the honey wheat bread is,
Come on, man.
so good. So good. But I don't even know, I've never been to a Firehouse Subs. I don't think I've ever eaten at a Firehouse Subs. I don't eat at Subway. So I don't even know that there's another one. Jeremy Bolton says, they ordered a shirt. I don't mind waiting until we get a medium. Okay, cool. John Jackson says, Jimmy John's are overrated. Nothing special about that sandwich. No, I'm not, I haven't had Jimmy John's in a while.
Yeah,
because the last time it was.
I don't need to pay a place where the owner's killing rhinos in the Sahara. So I'm gonna stay with Jersey Mike's.
Wow, Jake the environmentalist. Jake the environmentalist.
Just saying.
I love that. And Garci says XM.
XM.
Like, is that extra medium? Oh man, and Garci totally is a medium guy. I hate to say it, Garci, but you're kind of a heel on this show. You came in kind of swinging for the fences of negativity and death, and the community didn't appreciate that.
And kick a person when he's down.
SLCP shooter says, spot on, Jeremy B. They're always soggy these days. So is Cafe Rio slipping?
I think the thing with Cafe Rio is it's not good for the DoorDashes of the world because you get soggy tortillas, you guys were just saying. But I think when you go in, it's great because you get it hot and you can avoid the soggy tortilla experience.
Miguel on Instagram DMs. Miguel says, I'm new to the show. I'm just fearful to comment that I might be wronged. Okay, he lives in Brazil. Miguel, if you come in and
just comment.
Get in the comments, man.
It's not personal, bro.
Yes, we have 2XLs left, so we'll hook you up with that.
Yeah.
I did get his.
We have
DMs.
to go, bro. We have to go, dude.
I did get his DMs.
Yeah, we ain't got all day here.
All right, we got to roll. Play the music. Bottom line is Cafe Rio's amazing, and go to Jersey Mike's.
And Chipotle.
Make sure you subscribe, hit like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We're giving away this Xbox Series X when we get to 3,000. Monday, we're going to have a significant addition to the Xbox Series X. And we should be able to announce a new t-shirt on Monday as well. James Knight says, we have good chemistry in this locker room in Garcia. LOL, I love the show. Positive, thank you.
Bro, he's trying to pull the Rudy line in the comments.
Yes, he is.
Play defense, bro.
Greg Hawkins says the comments section can get spicy, but it's all good as long as you're all good. I would agree. There you go. All right. Hey, we'll be up Monday morning again. Big announcement. Prize on top of this one on Monday. Until then, say goodbye, Jake and stuff.
Goodbye. I'm not a fart denier. Have a good weekend.
Oh, please.